There's a goal! Can you believe it? It's extraordinary.
Down in the Adelaide rooms, and that was the tail of the tape, a 33-point win for the Crows, who are too good for a pretty gallant Richmond, it has to be said, given how many players they can't select in their best 22. Now, Jimmy Bartell, we just saw a fair bit of Josh Jenkins in that tape rolling. You've heard something about his medical condition?
Yeah, we had a good chat with a few people from Adelaide, and they suspect his ACL's in pretty good tack, which, you know, we were really worried when this injury happened. When you see that gruesome hyperextension, you get some real concerns around the knee joint, especially the ACL, but they're pretty confident that's all in sound and intact. But, you know, we'll know more once they have some scans, probably tomorrow morning.
And a bit of deja vu for the Adelaide boys with Paul Seedsman, a similar incident earlier in the year, and he was out there today playing. Yeah,
we thought the worst when we saw Paul's injury early in the year, but once they get the scans, they can see how much structural damage will be. Look, they'll be pretty sore because some serious weight and load has gone through there, so he would have stretched everything in his knee. So lucky there's a bye round and, you know, a couple of weeks, you know, to get that right.
Tex Walker we really like tonight. Can see him, he's always a man of the people, the big Texan, but just started launching nicely at the footy and doing what we know he can do.
Yeah, we were talking about this off air. How much with that mark in the last quarter against the Giants, where he came out and plucked one at a vital time, gave him that real boost of confidence coming in the week. Look, he missed a mark early, which he'd normally gobble up, but he just looks strong. He's got his timing right. We know how good of a kick he is at the footy, but like a mark like this, out of the centre bounce, just launching at it, one pluck grab, and look, he's just playing with so much confidence, and that combination he built with Josh Jenkins, that's what makes him so dangerous.
Not going to beat sides of the quality of GWS and Richmond without your big players standing up. And the two captains, Rory Sloane last week kicked two big goals in the final term of that match. He did it again tonight. So when, well, you know, having played under great captains, Jimmy, when your captains can stand up for you, they drag everyone along.
Well, you can feel the emotion the side lifting. So when Rory Sloane kicks a goal, you know, just the fist pumping in the arms and get around me, boys. And you saw they went back to the centre bounce. They won the next clearance again off the back of that. But it's the energy they provide. It's, if I'm going to do it, everyone else will follow it as well. That's the strength of a good leader. And you can see whenever Rory Sloane goes near the contest, it's almost like he's setting the standard for everybody else.
That one earlier in the match, and then he just folds back and takes this one. And so courageous in the air too for what is not a particularly big man. So two massive goals again for Rosa, and they are starting to move along very nicely. I think Bruce McAvaney said, what have they won, 9 in their last 11, the Adelaide Crows, so you take that all day long.
Yeah, and a favourable draw after the bye for them. And the thing is, when you look through their side, apart from O'Brien, who's a young ruckman, and you throw in Gallucci, who hasn't played much footy, they're pretty seasoned and experienced side now. Your Crouch has gone through 100 games with Tex, Jenkins down back. You know, I know Keith hasn't played much footy, but he plays a mature brand of footy. So,
yep.
Yeah, so look, they've got a seasoned side, an experienced side. A number of these guys have gone to finals, and they're just starting to get their mojo back, aren't they?
And what about these two? I'm speaking with you, a Brownlow medalist and a man that used to find plenty of the ball, but these two brothers are completely nuts, nearly 80 between them.
They're hard and they're tough, and I think all that practice in the backyard fighting for clearances, and they do it out there on the field. But we mentioned during the call, immediately, along with Rory Sloane, is their chemistry with the big fella. You know, they've had over 20 clearances between them, but it's their movement around the stoppage and how they play off each other really well.
Well, they're happy around here, and so they should be. We've got Eddie Betts wandering over, so we'll get the little champ to jump in the middle. Yeah. Hello to you, mate.
How you doing?
Eddie?
Now, Ed, I don't know if you're aware of any of this, but that's your third Goal of the Year nomination. We're just giving it to you. It's Thursday, but they got the rest of the round. Third of the year. We want you to have a look at them. We're going to roll them all for you. We want you to rate the three for us, because it's just nuts how often it happens. Let's go to earlier in the year, and well, there's an outside of the boot banana, the check side as they call it here in South Australia. Tell us what you were thinking as that one went through, and then this one from last week.
To be honest, I don't really think. In those moments, you just think. You don't think. You just in those moments you just have a crack, and I don't know how that one went in. To be honest, it was bending the other way and just spun back in.
And Eddie, what did you say to Sydney Stack after it? We caught on footage. There was a bit of a high five, a bit of mutual love after it. What were you saying to him?
Sydney's, you know, a young player, young hard player too. He was stuck into me all game, and I went for it. He kept telling me, you're not getting a special goal tonight. No special goals tonight. And he smothered one on my left foot just earlier and came back and said, no, I've told you you're not getting one. And when that one went through, I said, sorry, brother, I told you I was getting one.
What is it about those two pockets too? It all seems to happen at the cathedral end.
I honestly don't know. they just go in down there, and yeah, to be honest, I don't know.
And what's the young man's name?
This is Lewis.
Lewis, which goal do you think has been the best?
The Richmond.
The Richmond one.
The Richmond goal. He's rated it.
He practices a lot at home, so we do a lot of practice with Louis at home in the doorways, and he normally gets me.
Hey, you must be happy with the way the team is rolling too, mate. The big win up in Melbourne, against Melbourne in Darwin, which is the one I reckon might have just got you kick-started. You fell over the line there. Really good last week and again tonight.
Yeah, it was. You know, we knew Richmond were coming, and we just had to hold in there. You know, we had one on the bench, and then JJ went down, and all signs are good with Josh at the moment. So it's good that we hung in there and got the win.
Eddie, you mentioned one on the bench last week. You had a couple go down again this week. What's been the message at three-quarter time? Because we sit up and we look and we go, surely Richmond's going to put pace on the game. How have you been able to slow sides down but keep speed on the game when you've been so short?
Yeah, if you look at the games early on in the year, that we weren't strong enough for long enough, and teams overrun us, and so we just had to stay in the fight, keep going, and eventually, you know, we'll run over the top, and that's what we did. We stayed to our structures. We got field position, which was great, and then we kept it in our forward half.
Hey, Eddie, great catching up with you. Well done again tonight. Not only yourself, but your team going beautifully.
No, thanks, guys.
Go and enjoy Dad's goals, man. And, mate, don't leave your phone here either. Otherwise, someone's going to tread on it. Well done, Ed. Good to see you, mate. Hey, we might jump over to the Richmond rooms. Mark Soderstrom's over there. Soders?
Basher is always going to be a big challenge, of course, because you are undermanned. I know you won't make excuses because of manpower, but there was some really good effort at times tonight.
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of the playing group, the way we handled ourselves for the majority of the game. I think there was within 10 or 12 minutes of the final quarter, we're 4 points down. So it's a great effort. Obviously not good enough. We battled for most of the game, but unfortunately we weren't good enough at the crucial time. Obviously last 10 minutes.
Of course, with so many out, the bye's going to come at a very good time for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Obviously, you know, hopefully we can get a few back, a few leaders. So we obviously you lack a little bit of that. You know, you got young kids who are full of energy, enthusiastic, out there, roaring to go. But you know, when you've got some solid leaders back in the team, they just really settle the group down and make good solid decisions at the right times. You know.
Obviously, plenty of players getting opportunities at the moment. Tell us about some of the younger ones that have come in that have impressed you over this period recently.
Yeah, there's been a number of players. Obviously, Sydney Stack is one who plays in a similar role down back. He's a guy who's always on the front foot, looking to take that next step. You know, Connor Menager also played a game. He's been in and out this year, but been obviously left out for very, very small reasons. So every time he gets that opportunity to come back in, he plays his role. So we've got a few young players. Young Baker as well. He's very exceptional, very lively. You know, applies so much pressure and also really good by foot as well. So, you know, there's a really bright future at the football club, and obviously that goes down to our VFL system. Our VFL system is really at a high level, and you know, I think we've lost one game in the VFL, and you know, we don't have the most obviously a lot of listed players playing at the time, but just turn up and play. So it goes to show that our development system beneath our AFL team is travelling really well, and that's what you want. You want pressure from underneath, so you know, us older guys can continue to deliver.
Speaking of travelling, you've only got one more interstate trip. I think you go to Gold Coast, and you finish your last 7 games at the G. So if you get everyone fit and firing, realistically, I think only Alex Rance is the only long-term one you've got. So you're still in a really good position. Yeah,
we're always looking for the positives out of every situation. Like, I mean, we haven't had a team meeting yet, but we just had a quick chat with the playing group, and we said that, you know, there's so much positives that came out of tonight. You know, we didn't get the 4 points, but we'll grow from this, and we'll be better for it. You know, everything will click at the right time.
Mate, good to see you still smiling, mate, and thanks so much for your time. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Always, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks to Mark Soderstrom, Basher Hooley there, and you only have to wander into the Adelaide rooms for a couple of minutes, Jimmy, and the Texan wanders up, especially after a big win. Very nicely played yourself, but it could have been a 5 or 6 goaler from you, big man.
Yeah, it could have been. I had a fair bit of grip on tonight, Jim, but I didn't clunk, but it come away with a few goals, and I thought Richmond undermanned a fair bit. They hung around for probably three and a half quarters, and then were able to kick away, which was pleasing.
We mentioned the game up at Darwin against Melbourne where you had a strong last quarter. Do you feel like that last quarter where you fell in against the D's sort of kick-started you guys for the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think, like, we're going to the bye now at 8-5. We've got some things to improve on, which is pleasing for us. I think we started year 1 and 3, and to be able to go up to Darwin and just sneak in a little win up there, I think it's sort of kicked us into gear the last couple of weeks. So we'll rest up. We've got a few sore boys out of tonight, and have a little bit of a break now, go up to Noosa and get a bit of sun.
Going to get to what you're doing in the break in just a moment, but you look like you added a bit of physicality into your own game in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think I just needed to get jumping at the footy. I wasn't doing that, and I don't think I was moving as much on my defenders as well. So those two things I've been trying to do and starting to get a little bit of reward.
When we saw you guys make the grand finals off that high-powered attack, tonight back over 100 points, what are we looking for when we see Adelaide play that way, and what do you do when it doesn't go that way?
Oh, ideally, like we'd love to attack the game. That's the way we try and play. But I think the game now, it's all about contest and pressure, and if we can do that, and it gives us a good chance to win different ways, and we'll have a little mid-season break and have a little review on what we've done well and look forward to the second half.
You've been front and centre for, we just talked to Eddie Betts, 22 in his career. He's been nominated for Goal of the Week, and
has he really?
It might be his third already this year. When you see him go through, what do you actually think?
I don't know. Like, it was phenomenal. He kicked it, and the ball was bending the other way from the goals. And I've said he's a freak, but here we are. It's on TV, and he almost like runs to the. Look at him run to the boundary. He's unbelievable. He's just such a talent, and I'm going to look back in 20 years when I've got kids, I'm going to be able to tell them that I played with, I reckon, the best small forward, apart from Stephen Milne, the best forward in the competition, and one that I was lucky enough to play with.
It's gold. It's absolute gold. Now, behind us, we can see big Josh Jenkins.
Yeah.
Got the knee heavily iced, as you would expect, but when you see that, what did you think, and what do you know about it?
Yeah, well, look, it didn't look good on TV, so we hope it's not the worst. So he'll have scans probably tomorrow or Monday, and here he's there on the crutches. So probably have scans Monday, and we'll know a little bit more next week.
A couple other guys you've got a huge kick out of this year, Riley O'Brien and Alex Keith down back. For inexperienced players games-wise, they're giving you so much already.
I suppose when Sauce went down, it gave him an opportunity. He's taken it with both hands, and same with Keithy. Like, I got to play on him the last couple of pre-season. I've been able to see him get better and better, and I probably struggled to get a few kicks in the pre-season. I was starting to wonder about my form, but those guys get opportunities, and they've played really well for us.
Now, you're going to take the bride up to Noosa for the little spell. Are you going to introduce the moon tan to the beach there? Because this time of year, there'll be nothing brown under there.
A little bit brown, but no, I'll definitely be cruising around. Might have the shirt off and might cruise around the budgie smugglers, James. But I'm looking forward to it.
That would keep me away from Noosa. That would be enough reason not to go there.
Not a good sight?
No,
okay.
Neither of those things. Hey, great to see you, mate. Well played tonight, and well played for your team over the last 3 weeks.
Thanks, boys.
He's the star of the game, Big Tex. We're going to get to a break, but when we come back, plenty more from the Adelaide Rooms.